Po.
Yeah. Ayan, laban na talaga 'no? Okey. So, ngayon, she-share ko lang yung screen ko, saglit lang. Oo. Mhm. Oo. Saglit lang at ayaw mag-share. Open with okey, ayan. Much better. Okey. Let me know if you guys can see my screen. Oh, by the way, magpapakilala lang ako 'no, ba habang naka-share yung screen ko. Magpapakilala lang ako. By the way, guys, I'm Coach Hale, and I am originally medical billing coach ako dito, but I also work as a VA, medical VA as well. I've handled medical billing for like 7 years now. And sa VA naman, I started like 3 years ago, and it's been going on well naman. I've been handling end-to-end RCM or revenue cycle management for the billing, and I also
Saan
handle.
din kami J5.
I'm sorry. Oh, I think accidentally lang na unmute yung mic niya. Or anyways naman no. So I've been handling end-to-end billing 'no, and also, tawag dito, um, credentialing. I'm also handling credentialing and, VA ako ng dalawang company, dalawang clients, full billing, I mean full, VA nila ako. So, yu end-to-end sa lahat ng ginagawa, administrative task and all, yun yung ginagawa namin. So, anyways, do you have any questions for me, guys, before we start?
Wala po.
Wala naman? Okay. If wala naman, so our topic today is we're going to talk about HIPAA in real life and yung mga common mistakes na nagagawa ng VA, ng isang VA when it comes to what do you call this, HIPAA. So ano nga ba yung first of all, siyempre, ano nga ba yung HIPAA? Anyone that who is not aware what his HIPAA is, because kasi karamihan naman sa atin, I'm sure, aware na kung ano yung HIPAA. It's very, very important pagdating sa medical or sa healthcare system ng US.
Paano?
Pa-mute na lang po ng mic. Thank you so much. Okay, so ano nga ba yung HIPAA? Anyone who knows what HIPAA is? Anyone would like to share? Ano nga ba yung HIPAA? Anyone? Okay. So, paikliin na lang natin or let's make it short. HIPAA is short for Health Insurance Policy, Portability Act of Accountability Act. So, I will type it dito sa ayan, tinype na ni Mila pala. So, ang HIPAA po, let's make it short or yung very short explanation dito is ito yung nagpo-protect ng information ni patient, no? Um to have their information leaked. And as we know, guys, very important sa US, especially in not only in US, everywhere naman, pero sa US very ano sila, maingat sila when it comes to HIPAA, kasi marami kasing nagaano sa US, maraming nagkakaroon ng identity theft. So pati yung mga information ng patient, pati yung mga information ng patient, what do we call this, ng mga ano nila, medical information nila is, nananakaw sa US. Bakit? Kasi there are medication sa US na very ano, maingat silang ibigay, or kailangan talaga ng prescription drugs. Tapos yung iba hindi makapagpa-check-up, o kaya yung iba naman, um, yung iba naman hindi talaga for them, pero inaano nila, kinukuhan, or they wanted to get that drug, ganyan. There are different reasons kung bakit nila ginagawa yun. There are different reasons kung bakit nila ginagawa yun. And that's one thing, no? Or that's one thing na reason na ginagawa nila is because nga they wanted to get yung mga medication na yung ibang tao is nakakakuha. Okay? So ayun yung HIPAA. So again, HIPAA protects the information of the patient. Okay? So there are or when we are on the call, how do we usually make sure, kasi tayo syempre we're out of ano tayo, 'di ba? Offshore tayo. So how do we make sure that we are talking to the patient? Any ideas? Or how do we make sure na hindi natin violate yung HIPAA? Hindi tayo makakapag-disclose basta-basta ng information ni patient without knowing if that's the patient, if that is really the patient. So how do we do that over the phone? Any idea? Puwede kayo ba guys, by the way, puwede kayong mag-unmute if you would like to answer, or tinatamad kayong mag-type. Pero okey lang din mag-type na lang. Okey lang din naman if magta-type lang kayo, okey? Just wanted to share, guys. So, verification, patient identification protocols, okay. So, paano natin ina-identify if that's the patient?
Itanong ang name at saka date of birth.
Okay, very good. Yes. So, we get the patient's information, or we verify if that's the patient that we're talking to by the patient's name and their date of birth. Good job. And may mga ano rin 'no, just wanted to let you know, guys, na meron din mga provider, or meron din mga provider na enable for you to verify. Meron silang mga tinatawag na third verifier, 'no. May mga gano'n na gusto nila nagve-verify ka third time. So, ano yung information na kinukuha natin on the third verification? It could be email, it could be the phone number, yung address, o kaya yung SSN, o kaya naman kung si provider nagpo-provide siya, or meron siyang mga sariling internal na member ID or patient ID ni patient. So minsan may mga gano'n, puwedeng gano'n yung kinukuha nila, puwedeng kinukuha nila through the ah, tawag dito, patient ID, ganyan. Medical record number, yan, if ever merong mga information na puwede natin makuha through that, okay? So gano'n tayo mag-verify if we are talking to the patient, or if we are really talking to the patient, 'no? So coach, if that is so, ano 'tong mga common mistakes na nagagawa ng VA sa real life? So, whether bago tayo sa healthcare space o kaya naman matagal na, there are still times that we get to forget, or nakakalimutan natin kung gaano nga ba kahalaga yung HIPAA, and kung papaano nga ba nagwo-work on yung HIPAA. That's why we need to be reminded from time to time kung ano ba, or kung paano ba natin mapoprovide or paano tayo makakapag-provide kay patient and kay provider ng HIPAA qualified service, no? Ah, hindi 'to, yung lecture natin na 'to, hindi 'to yung mga usually na makikita natin sa mga textbooks, ganyan. But this will be, real life situations 'no, kung papaano kasi usually kapag meron tayong yung mga HIPAA exams na ganyan, meron tayong mga ano, um, ah, explanations and everything doon. Pero hindi natin makukuha yung information on how do we get these mistakes ng ano talaga, ng, um in actual in actual situations, 'no? So, how do we know or how do we know that we're doing the mistakes, 'no? So, we're going that's what we're going to talk about today, kung paano natin or paano natin madi-distinguish kung ano yung real world situation na nangyayari na mga mistakes na sa isang VA applications, okay? So, HIPAA violations don't always, sabi nga dito, HIPAA violation don't always comes from hacking or leaked databases. Sometimes they may happen a quick phone call, made of noisy room, o kaya naman a well-meaning text message or even an email without thinking twice. So that is why it is very important, no, ah sa isang VA na bago ka nagse-send ng information kay patient, bago ka magbibigay ng information, you need to make sure or you need to think twice kung tama ba yung information na pino-provide mo if you're not clicking any information, 'no? Kasi, you may be, um violating HIPAA nang hindi mo napapansin. So, you have to be very, very careful when you are sending information kay, ah, kay kay patient, okay? So, hindi laging, through, leak na information o kaya naha-hack yung system ni provider kaya nagkakaroon ng HIPAA violation. So minsan, um, tawag dito, minsan dahil sa mistakes ni VA o kaya ni provider, okay? So ayun yung pag-uusapan natin ngayon. So what we did is um, uh we divided this webinar ng three major categories. So we have phone calls, text messages, or emails, no? So the reason why we divided yung webinar na to into three major categories kasi ang pagli-leak ng information ng patient, like we said, hindi lang galing sa pagkakaroon ng hacking. It may also come from a quick phone call na hindi sinasadyang na-inform kasi maingay yung room, o kaya naman yung mga text messages na nasa-send natin kay patient or yung email na nabibigay natin kay patient without being very, very careful. Okay? So, let's go ahead and talk about the first category, which is the phone calls. So each section I will include an example, okay, a real life example kung ano yung mistake na nagagawa ni patient or nagagawa ng VA, and ano yung mistake na yon, then you guys get to tell me kung paano siya naging mistake. So ano to, no, let's have like a very conversational webinar today, or a very active webinar, no? So, uh, you get to tell me what do you think, or why, ano yung tingin yung mas better, or paano natin, how do you guys think we should correct it? Okay? So first example, saying the full name of the patient out loud in the shared space. So example, nag-work ka sa site, okay? As we know guys, 'di ba, merong mga tawag dito, merong mga um places, or may mga providers na ang ano nila is through site. So example, nagwo-work ka sa site, tapos you are talking to the patient and you accidentally said the patient's information loudly. O kaya naman you've heard na example, or another naman, is example, you've heard na the patient is on a shared space, or nasa labasan siya, tapos binigay mo pa yung full name ni patient loudly. Why do you guys think na it is violation, or it's a HIPAA violation saying the patient's full name out loud? Anyone? Why do you guys think it is a HIPAA violation, saying the patient's name out loud? Anyone would like to share? Okay. Do we have answers here? It's an identifier. Yes, PHR yon. It's okay. It's part of the information na bine-verify natin. Remember, if we are verifying a patient, we verify the patient through name and date of birth. And yung name, hindi lang yung first name ni patient. It has to be the patient's full name and yung correct name ni patient. Okay? Kasi meron kasi mga nicknames yung mga patient niyan. Kahit may record ka ng nickname ni patient, the patient, or the person that you're talking to have to give you their full name and correct name. Okay? Hindi pwedeng kunwari, ang name ni patient is uh Nora. Tapos ang nickname niya is Emma. May mga ganun, malayo talaga. Pero even though tawag dito, even though nakalagay dun yung nickname niya, you have to verify the patient's name, or the patient's government name. Okay? So yung tamang pangalan ni patient dapat yung gagamitin natin. So, example na 'to. Ay, napindot P. Ano na nga. So example, incorrect script. Hi, is this Mr. John Martinez? I'm calling for Dr. Reyes Clinic about your blood pressure results. So what do you guys think is the mistake dito? Bakit siya naging mistake, other than giving the patient's full name? So this is a mistake kasi you're saying a sensitive information in a public or shared space. No? It may lead unauthorized disclosure. Ayun na nga yung sinabi kanina ng PHI. What is a PHI? PHI is Protected Health Information. Ito yung mga ginagamit nating verifier. So, nagdi-disclose tayo ng sensitive information about the patient. Even though wala pa yung tawag dito, even though hindi pa natin nadi-disclose yung mga information niya, medical information niya, ganyan. But actually, dito nga, dalawa na yung mali dito eh. Mali din na i-disclose mo na why are you calling about agad-agad without verifying the patient yet eh. Kahit ikaw yung nag-call, 'di ba? Wait. Okay. So, paano natin iko-correct 'to? May mga nagbigay na ng example dito kanina. Can we say, Am I talking to whom? Am I talking to whom? Or hello, may I speak with patients first? Okay. Without initial siguro, I think for Ryan kasi sinabi niya hello, may I speak with patient's first name and last. I think okay na yung first name ni patient tapos verify mo if you're talking to the patient. So, ang correct in script dito, it could be, "Hi, may I speak with John, please?" So, first name lang. This is from healthcare provider's office. Okay, I sent a message. This is from your healthcare provider's office. I'll wait while you move in a space in a private place or pwede mong itanong, are you available to talk about this kind of information? You have to inform na you cannot say which provider are you from right away. You have to verify muna na the patient is you have to verify muna that you're ready. I mean, the patient is ready to talk with you in a much more private um space. Okay? So this one is much better to use. Can you see nakikita mo? Yan, another example from Ryan. Nakikita niyo yung chat natin, guys?
Yes po.
Okay, good, good. Okay, so this is an example, okay? Okay. All right, perfect. Hmm. Okay. So next is another example is example 2, leaving detail in voicemail, sa medical records ni patient. So voicemail lang tapos nagdi-disclose ka ng information ni patient. So example ito. Okay, wait lang. So example ito. Wait lang, baba ko lang yung chat natin na naharang kasi. Hi, John. Your lab results showed the elevated glucose level. Please call us back. So, dinisclose mo na agad yung so it's example number 2, voicemail, tapos dinisclose mo na agad yung information ni patient, 'di ba? Yung medical information ni patient. And it's leaving I mean, yung voicemail kasi, it could be heard by unintended person. So example, ang nakarinig nun is another person na hindi verified yung or hindi dapat makarinig ng tawag dito, medical information ni patient. So let's say that is someone or a friend lang. Let's say it's just a friend that was mistakenly holding the patient's information or patient's phone, ganyan. Tapos hindi naman intended yung information para sa kanya. And na-disclose mo yung information ni patient. That's a part of what do we call this? HIPAA violation. Okay? All right. So instead of saying this, how can we make it right? Leave only a callback request without medical details. Sabi ni Ryan, hello, this is Ryan calling from your healthcare provider. Yes, perfect. That is actually very correct. Yan yung tamang-tamang information. So, paano natin sabihin, hi? Another example is, ay, okay, ayan. This is Anna from your provider's office. Please give us a call back at your earliest convenience. So, mga ganyang example, do not leave an information, no? Kasi nga, yun nga yung pinoprotektahan natin eh, yung mag-leak yung information ni patient, 'di ba? So if that, what do we call this? If that, uh, information na-disclose yon dun sa unintended na person, well, what could happen worse, 'di ba? Worst to worst na pwedeng mangyari is magkaroon ng identity theft or yung information ni patient is mag-leak and magkaroon pa uh, ng it might be um uh violation pa ni provider. So as we know guys, HIPAA violation, it has tawag dito, it has like may bayad yon. So pwedeng si provider yung mapagbayad dun if ever na if ever na ireklamo si provider at
Investigation siya, di ba?
na nagkamali talaga tayo. Okay?
Madali yun. Madali yun.
So, di ka na
Okay? All right. So may question tayo so far or anyone would like to share? Wala naman. Okay. So next examples ng phone calls is confirming the patient appointment without someone answers the call. So example, someone else who answers the call. So hindi si patient yung kausap mo, tas hindi mo man lang verify if that person, you could actually confirm yung information ni patient, no? You like we said, every time we make a phone call, even if it's outbound or inbound, you have to verify the person that you're calling or you're speaking to. Okay? So, example, you are on a phone call. Once na nag provide or once na na-disclose mo na yung information ng hindi mo kino-confirm yung patient, tas late mo na palang na-realize hindi pala si patient yung kausap mo. Well, that's gonna be a HIPAA violation. Okay? So we thought it is very HIPAA is very simple to follow, no? We just have to be careful. Yun lang yung kailangan talaga natin. We always have to be careful with HIPAA. Okay? So example, you're confirming an appointment with that person and ang sabi mo is, oh, you're his wife? Okay, tell him that his therapy session is tomorrow at 2. Ano alam ng wife niya? Hindi pala alam ng wife niya may therapy session siya. Naggawa ka pa ng away. Nag-cause ka pa ng away nila, charot. 'Di ba? Voicemails. So, during session health, discussing health information matters with anyone other than the patient without consent of HIPAA violation. Without consent is a HIPAA violation. So how do we know if this person that we're talking to is actually allowed or pwede tayong mag-disclose sa kanya ng HIPAA information, even though if it's the person's or if it's the patient's wife, you have to verify if uh puwede kang mag-disclose ng information sa kanya. Paano natin gagawin 'yon?
usually, di ba, may form silang pinifill upan na you are allowed as a healthcare provider, you are allowed to give my healthcare information to this person.
Yes, that's correct. Meron silang mga fini-fill upan na puwede silang mag-fill up ng HIPAA authorization form wherein it says na or it shows on that form na puwede mong i-disclose yung information ni patient with this person with this person, and that person could be pwede yun ilagay sa EHR or dun sa system ni provider. Pwede siyang malagay dun sa system ni provider and makikita naman natin na this person could be or pwede tayong mag-disclose ang information ni patient with this person. Okay? So you have to you just have to check on the patient's patient's account if inaalaw nila yung person na to disclose yung information or if may consent. What if walang HIPAA authorization form sa account ni patient? How do we verify?
We can ask for verbal authorization, like if they are
Okay.
with the account holder.
Okay, perfect. That's right. So, if ever naman, kunwari naman si patient is wala namang account walang HIPAA authorization on the account or HIPAA authorized person sa account ni patient, pwede tayong mag-request kay patient, kay someone that we're talking to check, can we have verbal authorization or we need to get a verbal authorization from the patient, ganyan, no? If we are able to get a verbal authorization kay patient, then pwede tayong mag-disclose. Okay? All right. So those are the ways that yun yung mga ways on how we are going or how can we verify if we can actually disclose yung information ni patient. Okay? So hindi pwedeng basta-basta ka magdi-disclose na lang ng information, okay? You have to uh you have to be very careful pa rin, no? Hindi pwedeng dahil wife niya yon, i-disclose mo na agad. You still have to check if that person or yung wife niya is authorized para makapag-disclose tayo ng information sa account ni patient. Okay?
Kahit pala asawa niya. Kung walang verbal, ano.
Yes, kailangan pa rin ng verbal authorization. Wait lang, no? Wait lang, papalitan ko lang yung naka-share kong screen kasi may inedit akong bago. Okay, ayan. Okay, nakikita niyo yung screen ko?
Yes.
All right. So how can we make this right? Any ideas? How do you guys think can we make this right? How do you
If
document
the
verbal
person is
authorization?
available, ma'am.
Okay, pwede mong itanong if the person or if the patient is available. So Maria said, how do you document verbal authorization? Just take a note of it. When you are doing calls naman, every time you do calls, you have to take note of what happened on the call. Pwede mong ilagay sa note mo na you had a verbal authorization. Just take note or just be reminded na verbal authorization is only allowed for 24 hours. Meron din namang mga provider na nag-aalaw lang ng verbal authorization per call. So every time that the patient will call or every time that you will call, you will have to get a verbal authorization unless you get a authorization or like authorization form signed by the patient. That's the only time na pwede mong ilagay si person na to, si authorized person sa account ni patient as authorized siya. Okay? Okay, so for this one, how can we make this right? We could ask if the patient is available, no? O kaya naman, just don't reveal, or if the patient is not available, sorry, if the patient is not available to speak to, do not reveal appointment information or yung reason ng appointment niya. Unless merong release na merong naka-release na signed authorization sa account ni patient. Okay, you could say, I can't share any details, but you could please let him know that we called and if the patient could give you guys a call back. Okay, so these are an examples. All right, so next example is For phone call is another mistake na usually nagagawa natin is giving out the full date of birth or health information to verify the identity without proper confirmation. So example natin dito is, hi, your date of birth is March 4, 1982, right? Okay, your prescription is ready. 'Di ba? Maling-mali. So, bakit 'to naging mistake? First is that yung confirmation ni patient, yung identity ni patient is nag-share ka na agad ng PHI again. Parang sa ano lang, full name lang ni patient. Ano rin kasi yun, health information din yun ni patient. So that's also part of verifier information, no? That's why we cannot disclose. So what do we do, or how can we correct this um etong na to text na to? Paano natin sasabihin sa patient? Yes, have them say their own date of birth. So we could ask for verification. Can you please confirm your full name and date of birth? Okay, so that's how we address, or that's how we confirm. Do not say it. Wag ikaw yung magsasabi. You ask them. You ask them. Hayaan mo silang magsabi nun. Sabi nga ni Jem, hayaan mo silang magsabi kung ano yung date of birth nila. They should know. 'Di ba? Tama naman. Okay? Next example, or next usual mistakes na nagagawa is not confirming who you're speaking with before disclosing the patient. Information. Ito very, very, very madalas 'tong nangyayari. Alam mo yung minsan lalo na yung mga call, or lalo na yung mga ano, example yung mga, tawag dito, receptionist, kapag marami silang calls na natatanggap tapos natataranta na sila, instead of, verifying muna kung sino yung kausap mo, you get to say kung ano na yung ano, nakapag-disclose ka na ng information ni patient. So example, "Hi, is this Claire? Great, your prescription has been sent." Sabi mo, "Hi, is this Claire?" Tapos sabi ni patient, "Yes, great, your prescription has been sent." 'Di ba? Hindi mo muna verify if you're actually talking to the patient. So, kasi puwedeng accidentally, yung patient information may accidentally disclose to someone else pala. Hindi mo alam na yes lang pala, tapos hindi mo verify yung name and date of birth, o kaya kung may third verifier sa patient. So always confirm with at least 2 verifiers. So how do we do that? Paano natin gagawin 'tong example na 'to? So we could say, "Hi, can you confirm your full name and date of birth before we proceed?" Okay? Coach, paano 'pag outbound yung call? "Hi, this is example, hi, this is Hale from the provider's office. Can you confirm your date of birth, your full name and date of birth, so we could disclose her information?" Puwedeng gano'n, okay? Let them say their information. Huwag ikaw yung magsasabi, okay? Okay? So, usual yung mga usual mistakes na nagagawa ng VA when it's going through a phone call is mistake calling patient without documenting the account. So example is failure to document na may disclose in miscommunication or lack of continuity sa ano, magkakaroon siya ng liability issues when it comes to the provider. Parang magkakaroon sila ng kasi paano mo yun, nagkakaroon ng miscommunication with the provider and kay patient. Okay? So example, um just had a phone call with the patient tapos hindi mo na note. Tapos you should have been like uh um kailangan pala yung confirmation ng appointment ni patient. Dahil hindi mo ni-note na nagkaroon ng confirmation sa appointment ni patient, hindi na take note or yung next na next na na member na babasa ng account ni patient is nag-call na naman kay patient. May mga patient kasi na syempre na sila, wala na silang pasensya sa mga gano'n. Nag-call back na naman with the same issue. Syempre sila magiging frustrated sila, kakatawag niyo lang sa akin ganito, ganyan, ta's wala naman ka lang note. So, how do we correct that? You could put in a note, maglagay ka ng note sa account ni patient, spoke with patient 2:15, ganyan, confirm the follow-up appointment, and chinek mo na if the patient instructed to call if the symptoms get worsened. So always put on a follow-up note. Okay? Notations is very, very important when it comes to VA. Kasi if ever marami kayong VA ni provider, at least the other one will know kung ano yung nangyayari sa account ni patient. Okay? All right. Next is leaving voicemail on shared work lines. So example yung phone ni patient is tawag dito is work phone pala. Tapos nag-leave ka ng voicemail, nag-disclose ka ng information. Hi, this is about your mental health. Follow up with Dr. Cruz, etc. etc. Tapos pala, yun nga, shared work line yung information. Iba yung nakarinig. Ay, so ganito, they're seeing psychologist pala, ganito, ganyan. O, di ba? Eh, di na-disclose na agad yung information niya. Di ba? So, it's a mistake kasi nga, like we said kanina, voicemail can be heard by any other people. Okay? So, paano natin i-correct to? How do we correct this? Don't leave an information against voicemail. So, how do we correct that? This is provider. It's same thing kanina. This is your provider's office and give us a call back. Okay? All right? So those are yun yung mga common mistakes na nagagawa natin when we are doing phone calls in a VA. Especially kapag receptionist, ganyan. Yung mga nagtitake ng calls kay patient. Alright? Okay, do you have any questions with the phone calls? Or would anyone would like to share anything? Okay, wala naman. Okay, let's go to the second category. Okay, let's go to the second category, which is the text messages. So, ito yung man yung common mistakes. Coach, nakakapag-send ba tayo ng text message kay patient? Yes po, meron tayong mga ginagamit na system or kaya meron tayong mga ginagamit yung mga EHR natin. Meron silang mga, hindi siya direct text message, pero parang sa portal na yon, merong mga text message options, no? So, ito yung mga common mistakes na nagagawa natin through text messages. So, mistaken sending PHI through regular SMS without encryption. It is very important sa VA world that we are using encrypted encrypted text messages or encrypted information. Kasi yun nga, not anyone could read them, no? Open lang yung account ni patient, i-open lang yung yung tawag dito, yung phone ni patient, makikita na agad yung text message, makikita na agad yung details ni patient. So, standard example ito, hi Anna, your blood results are back. It's a little high, please schedule. 'Di ba nasabi na agad na mataas yung blood pressure ni patient? Please schedule with Dr. Reyes. So, anong mistake dito? So, standard texting apps aren't HIPAA. So, wala silang encryption and audit tracking, no? So, how do we correct this text message? So, how do we correct this? So, we should use Use a secure app or patient. Yes, yung mga may EHR feature, yung mga patient portal, ayan. And then, hi patient or hi Anna. Don't disclose information agad. You ask the patient to give you a call back o kaya naman to respond muna bago ka mag-disclose. Okay? Make sure that you're not disclosing right away. All right? So, next example is yung mistake na nag-include agad ng full name and medical condition ni patient in a group text. So, example, hey Tim, follow up with John Martinez. He has hypertension and miss his checkup again. So, anong mistake dito? Group text can be group text can reveal PHI unintended to the recipients. So, hindi mo napansin na group text pala yun. Tapos nag-disclose ka na agad ng information ni patient, no? It's still personal health information pa rin ni patient. So, you still have to be careful. Okay? So, how do we correct this? Use initials lang at saka ID number ni patient. So, example is this. Let's say, example, you're sending a follow-up, no, with the team. Sa example, you're working in another department, tapos another department ang magfa-follow up kay patient or yung direct contact kay patient. Here, ganito mo dapat information. Hi, follow up with the patient's initials lang, then yung ID number, tapos inform mo kung bakit. Don't disclose any information ni patient, okay? So kasi sila naman makakapag-review ng account ni patient 'di ba? Okay. Next next common errors then sa VA is nakapag-send ng text without identifying if it's the correct number. So, hi Mr. Sanchez, your lab results show high cholesterol. Ayan na naman, information na naman, health information, 'di ba? Call us back. So, eto yung ang mistake dito is nakapagbigay na naman agad ng information or health information ni patient without confirming if tama ba yung phone number or without confirming if it's actually the patient, no? So how do we correct this mistake? Double check if double check contact information before mo i-send. So what you should do is verify mo muna yung number ni patient sa EHR before sending. Tapos ang message mo dapat is, hi, this is your clinic or your provider's office. Please call us back or please call us regarding the recent update. Okay? So don't give any information, okay? So next same example is using emojis or casual language that minimize medical seriousness. Hey, your BP is kind of high, lol. Nilaro yung pasyente. Doc wants to see you ASAP with doctor. Oh my gosh. Lol. Your BP kinda high. Lol. My God. Imagine mo, ikaw yung pasyente ganito. Ganito yung marireceive mo. Nilaro ka ng provider's office. Anong mararamdaman mo? O talagang ma-high blood. Ang taas na nga ng BP ko, tinawanan mo pa ako. Nakakaloka, 'di ba? Gen Alpha 9. 'Di ba ikaw yung pasyente ganito yung marabasa mo? Diyos ko, baka hindi ka na lang bumalik sa na yun, sa provider na yun. So, as in VA, we should always keep the tone professional and clear, guys, no? We always, yes, sure, AR. I will check pala with the ano no. I will check with admin Nix on how you guys kung paano niyo makukuha yung copy nito. Later I will ask na lang. Okay? So, make sure no we are always giving sa YouTube daw guys. Meron tayo niyan sa YouTube. So, ayan, pwede tayong mag ano we Hello, naririnig niyo ba ako?
Choppy. Medyo
Ayan, okay na ba?
choppy.
Or ganun pa rin?
So now, parang okay naman.
Okay na? Okay. I don't know what happened though. Parang nag-lag yung ano ko, yung mic ko. Anyway, so tayo dapat we always make it sound professional. How are we going to do that? We should use this. Hi, this is your provider's office. The doctor would like to discuss your recent blood pressure. Okay? So we use this instead. Okay? All right. So next is next example or common mistake is texting the patient after hours without the prior consent. So meron tayong mga working hours, no? We make sure that we keep it professional. So you said, "Hi, just saw your message, to forgot to fast for your labs." 'Di ba? May violate patient privacy or disturb them outside agreed upon communication window. So normally, we only get to contact the patients sa working hours natin. Wag naman tayo, magpahinga ka naman. 'Di ba? Only send messages to during the approved times unless it's an emergency, okay? So normally again, business hours lang tayo. And you should say that, or you should tell them, "Hi, just a reminder to fast before during tomorrow's lab." Okay? So keep it professional, guys. Okay? Next common mistake pagdating sa text messaging is including the appointment reason in a confirmation text. Hi, this is to confirm your mental health therapy session tomorrow at 1 p.m. Again, text messages could be read by anyone else. Okay? Na it could ano mo yun, pwedeng may makabasa ng text message ni patient. So it reveals sensitive information others might see if they want to share their phone, no? So omit sensitive details. So how do we do that? We correct it by saying, "Hi, this is to confirm your appointment tomorrow at 1 p.m. with your provider." Okay, that's how we correct it. All right? Okay. Next example is sending pictures of sensitive charts over the text. So images may contain PHI information ni patient. So and texting is not entirely secure, no? Like we said nga kanina pa, hindi secured messaging yung gamit mo. And nag-send ka ng picture ni patient via nag-send ka ng picture via iMessage, so it will still provide the patient's information. Okay? So we could say, how do we correct that? So upload images securely via EHR portals. So like I said, meron tayong mga EHR portal na mga ginagamit, and si patient at the same time, etong si patient, it could be alam mo yun, pwedeng i-review yun ni patient. So we've uploaded your prescription in the portal. Let us know if you need to help accessing it. Okay, so that's how we correct it. So next is not verifying the patient information before replying into an inbound text. So hi, Sarah, your birth control refill is ready. So how do we, but alam mo yun, like we said, someone else could be using the phone number. So example, shared phone number yun ni patient tsaka ng jowa niya o kaya ng asawa niya. 'Di ba? So, you need to verify the identification muna bago ka mag-share ng info. So, how do we do that? Hi, to ensure your privacy, you can or can you confirm your full name and date of birth before we proceed? So, ganon, okay? So, confirm mo muna kung sino yung kausap mo. Alright? Next example or next usual mistake sa text message is sending mass messages without proper BCC or permission. So, oh, 'di ba? Namali pa ako ng copy paste dito. So, sending bulk, example nito is send ka ng bulk information ni patient. Okay. So, example is send ka ng bulk information ni patient, reminding without the visible numbers of emails, no? So, use a secure mailing tools. Make sure that we are sending the information, no, with encrypted email as usual. Okay? Okay. Next category is for the emails. So, example, sending PHI through encrypted emails. So, hi Jane, your cholesterol is high. Dr. Reyes recommends dietary changes and follow up in 2 weeks. So, what's the mistake dito? Regular email is not secured and it may be, alam mo yun, intercepted, no? Pwede siyang mag-expose ng sensitive information. So, use a HIPAA compliant email with encryption or patient portal. So, pwede kang mag-send ng ganitong email. Hi, i-subject mo yung hi. Instead of saying lab results, change it to message from your provider's office. That's hygiene. You have a new message in your patient portal. Please log in to review it. So you ask them to, alam mo yun, to log into the patient portal o kaya check yung encrypted email for them to review it. Okay? So don't give them information bluntly dun sa email. Okay? Next common mistakes is including full name, date of birth, yung PHI ni patient within the email. So, example is this one. Hi, John Martinez, date of birth, and sinabi mo na agad yung information ni patient, diba? Your depression screening shows moderate score. Please schedule a therapy. Diba, nakakaloka? Sinabi mo na lahat ng information ni patient. Talagang wala nang tago-tago, talagang ano na, go on na, no? Combined with the multiple identifiers and PHI increases privacy risk. So, paano natin i-correct to? I-limit mo lang natin yung identifier or identifier na i-disclose natin kay patient. So, example, hi John, please log into your patient portal for an important update from your provider. Don't give them information. Even though kahit wala yung name and date of birth, dapat wala din tong information na to. So just ask them to check on the portal. Okay? So next mistake is replying to all thread with multiple patients copied. So example is mali na naman yung copy ko, B. So, example is, nag-click ka ng reply to all, tapos kino-confirm mo yung information ni patient. So, make sure that you are sending individual emails to each patient confirming the appointment. Okay? Okay. Next sa category emails is mistake forwarding patient information to the wrong recipient. So forwarding the lab result kay example ang email ni patient, ang email is nasendan mo is johndoe@gmail.com instead of john.doe@clinic.org. So mali yung na forwardan mo ng email. So how do we correct this? double check the recipient address, no? Double check mo muna kung sino yung sinesendan mo. This is what is very important when you're working in a VA. Kailangan i-double check mo lahat. No? Kailangan you are making sure na tama yung email, walang HIPAA violation sa email or sa text or sa yes, you have to make sure you are very attention to detail. Kasi ano, ang daming alam mo yun, ang daming risk or ang daming pwedeng ma-risk dun sa details na information na nadi-disclose mo. So kaya you have to be very, very careful. Okay? So how do we correct this? Verify the recipient and shares the result via portal or encrypted. It's actually very safe. Always safer to use a portal kasi andun yung information ni patient. So patient lang nakakapag-open nun o kaya naman encrypted yung email information. So, 'di ba? You have to make sure that it's carefully shared, no? Next mistake na usually nagagawa natin is attaching files without password protection. So, 'di ba? Mali na naman. So, attaching the files without the password protection. So, example, if the email is intercepted, PHI is accessible. Kung merong ibang naka-access ng email ni patient, yung information din niya is nakuha na yung information ni patient. So, example is nakapag-send tayo ng PDF of medical summary ni patient without as an attachment without security, without using encrypted email. So makukuha na agad yung information ni patient. That's why we need to encrypt attachments and passwords, no, separately. So how do we do that? So you put on your email, please see the attached document. Password will be sent via secure messages or the phone. Okay? So another common mistake is mistakenly attaching files without password protection. So napag-send ka ng PDF summary ni patient without tawag dito. Wait lang. Okay. Wait lang. So example is nakapag-share ka ng information ni patient without wait lang kasi ayaw mag-open ng isang ko. Open with okay. Okay. So eto. So example is nakapag-send tayo ng email um account ni patient without communicating with the patient. So ganito yung example. Nakapag-send ka ng email address instead of this email, no? So personal email lacks security controls, audit logs, and compliance measurement. So how do we correct this? Use authorized secured clinic email addresses. So usually make sure that you're using um company email instead of sending it personally. Okay? Kasi hindi HIPAA compliant yung pagsasend mo ng email using your personal email because it may cause confusion din kay patient, no? Bakit nagsasend sa akin to ng email ng ganito? Sino ba to? Mamaya hindi ka pala kilala ni patient, 'di ba? So, you have to make sure, no? Okay? Next is Um, common mistake is including sensitive information based on email subject lines. So yung subject lines pa lang natin, nagdi-describe na ng information ni patient. Subject line mo, psych medical refill, bipolar disorder. B, sinabi mo agad kung anong sakit ni patient, kung anong problema ni patient. 'Di ba? So use general subject line, follow up needed, refill request, ganyan lang. Okay? So, kapag mga email naman, pwede naman tayong gumamit like example, ChatGPT, ganyan. Pwede tayong gumamit ng mga ganun to, but like, ano lang, para lang merong mag-ano ng ano mo, ng email mo, may tawag dito, mag-proofread ng email mo if you're not sure, if you're unsure sa information na dinidisclose mo. Pwede kang mag-chat GPT, please, make this HIPAA acceptable, make this sound HIPAA acceptable, ganyan. Tapos type mo kung ano yung gusto mong sabihin, magbibigay naman tawag dito, si ChatGPT. Pero syempre, wag kang magbigay ng information ni patient with ChatGPT. Okay. So um next usual mistake is not deleting or archiving old emails with PHI. So it increases the risk of breach information if email is compromised. So kung na-compromise yung email tapos yung mga old emails na nagdi-disclose ng PHI ni patient, it could be tawag dito, it could be risky to get alam mo yun kapag na-breach yung email information ni patient. So keep all patient communication in inbox with no expiration policy, no? This is like an example ng mistake na gagawa natin. So how do we do that? Make sure that you're following company's retention policy kung gaano ka, I mean every when dapat nagdi-delete na ng information ni patient sa email, no? May mga kasi provider na dapat like every 30 days nagre-review ng emails and kini-clean up yung emails nila. So regularly archive messages and follow the life cycle protocols. And the last mistake that we are usually doing as VAs is hindi natin na-verify yung patient identity before tayo nag-share ng details in a response. So example, higher refill was approved. It will be at Walgreens, o 'di ba? Sinabi mo agad kung saan pa talaga, P. Iba pala yung pumunta, iba pala yung nanguha. Someone else could be accessing the email too, no? Okay, pwede yung anak ni patient, siya pala yung nag-access ng email ni patient. So you have to you have to verify pa rin kung sino yung kausap mo first. Before we proceed, can you confirm your full name and date of birth? So make sure that you are confirming the patient's information muna. Okay? All right, and that ends our webinar today. And I hope you guys enjoyed yung topic natin and marami tayong natutunan and na-open up sa atin kung ano ba yung common mistakes na nagagawa natin in a VA world. Okay? Especially sa healthcare, kung gaano kahalaga yung HIPAA, kung gaano kahalaga na nagiging detailed tayo sa mga information na dinidisclose natin sa mga patient or sa mga kausap natin. Okay? Meron ba tayong natutunan today?
Yes po.
Marami naman. Okay. So guys, I would like to remind you no na ang batch 22 natin will start tomorrow. Ang batch 22 ng medical VA natin it will start tomorrow. So guys, if you guys want to enroll and hindi pa kayo nakakapag-enroll, don't forget na mag-message lang tayo sa group page and we'll take care of you. Okay?
Hindi talaga ako naniniwala.
Okay po.
Wala ko akong alam. Parang gano'n. Niloloko niya ako. Pero
Hello po. May question po ako.
Yes,
May
P?
recorder ba dito?
Yes po,
Na
this is
copy?
recorded. This will be on the YouTube page po ng VAs of the Future.
Oh, great. Thank you.
Okay. Nasa ano tayo na to po? Sa ano po? Sa YouTube. Recorded to and it will be posted sa VAs of the Future page. Subscribe na kayo guys. Hindi ako nakalagin dito kaya hindi ako subscribe. Pero ano, dito niyo makikita, okay?
Sige po.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Founded na po.
Alright.
Ito po yung phone.
Nakalagay din po ba sa...
Ito po Korean ice cream. Ha?
Alright, thank you so much guys again. Our batch 22 will start tomorrow. If you guys would like to humabol pa sa ating batch 22,
Masarap dito yan.
see you on the next
Pwede
batch.
yan.
Yung mga medical, yung mga wants to be apply sa medical billing, it will start on June 1st.
Kasi Rachel.
See you guys. See ya. See you sa ating mga training. So again, yung mga gustong humabol, email lang kayo or message lang kayo sa group page ng ating VAs of the Future na page, okay? Kailan po yung start ng dental VA? I don't have my other calendar here. Let me check.
Nakain na ba?
Dental VA. I don't have the calendar here, pero it will be posted on the page then, B. So
Ay,
yung mga ano
may
natin,
batang
schedule natin,
pulubi.
it will be posted
Ito,
sa
20.
page ng
May batang pulubi.
paano po maki-sit in? Ano po, message lang kayo sa sa page. Si Ma'am Nix na or si admin na ang bahala sa inyo, okay? Ilang days po ang training ng medical billing? Medical billing training is 6 days. It include 5 days para sa medical billing and then yung one last day it is for the introduction to medical coding. So kasama na si medical coding, introduction to medical coding sa billing, pero at the end siya. 5 days for the billing and yung 1 day is for the intro to medical coding. Okay? Thank you everyone. See you sa ating next batch. Again, message lang kayo if you guys are or if you guys wanted to make habol. Salamat. Thank you everyone for joining.